You are listening to the And I Quote podcast, brought to you by Coterie Insurance. And I Quote was on a mission to share the importance of building relationships in the insurance industry. Through conversations with insurance agents and industry leaders, Coterie is bringing you episodes focused on relevant and trending topics.
Well, welcome to the And I Quote podcast. I'm Ashleigh Burden, the Senior Growth Manager here at Coterie Insurance. I'm really excited today to chat with someone who I've had the pleasure of working with in the past in my career here at Coterie and in her career. So really just excited to dive into the conversation with Alexandria Cardoze of Applied Systems. She currently is the Manager of Digital Marketing at Applied Systems. We worked together in her prior life under the Tarmaca arm, but really excited for the conversation today, touching on subjects in terms of marketing, data, and just really how our agents and brokers can really incorporate that into their strategy. So without further ado, welcome to the And I Quote podcast, Alex.
Thank you so much, Ashleigh. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you on. So tell our audience a little bit about you, a little bit about your career history and what brought you to Applied Systems.
Yeah, so my career actually began in architecture and interior design. I was a marketing manager for an architecture firm for a few years, and then I stumbled into Tarmaca. So I joined Tarmaca when there was only 2 other people on staff, and it was a really fun ride. So I joined in 2019, and I was with them through the acquisition of Applied Systems.
That's awesome. So we probably entered into the InsurTech space around the same time. So it's kind of fun to go on that journey together. So specifically with marketing, itself, what has kind of been your path in terms of like learning? Because marketing can be one of those industries that just changes so quickly. So what's been your path and kind of what keeps you up to date with what's going on in marketing, specifically in the insurance space?
Yeah, I kind of fell into marketing through my love of just content creation, and that evolved into more of like the digital marketing sphere. So handling paid ads and paid search for Applied specifically. But in insurance, my role or my excitement about marketing is that there's just not a lot of it. There's so much growth opportunity for marketing within insurance.
100%. And so I think I feel the exact same way, which has been kind of a fun journey, right? And you can really kind of make your own role and really your focus in the industry within the marketing space. So thinking a little bit more about like data and marketing, can you just kind of help our audience understand like what is data-driven marketing and why is it important for insurance agents and brokers?
Yeah, absolutely. Data-driven marketing effectively takes all of your kind of collected data. So demographic data, behavioral data, preference data, and just allows you to be a little bit more personal with some of your marketing communications.
100%. And then when you think about that, there's the importance of like having that personalization as well. So how do you think personalization comes into like improving engagement and conversion for agents?
Yeah, personalization is huge for improving engagement. Specifically, a lot of agencies currently use email marketing, and personalization is huge for email marketing. Being able to send a customized email that's more in touch with where that consumer is in their journey is absolutely going to bring you more engagement than just a standard plain email.
Yeah, agreed. And I think it becomes ever more important even as the relationship grows, right? Like everyone's not in the same stage of whether they're, a current buyer, a prospect, all of that. So it really is important. And that kind of leads me to like data sources. So what type of data sources do you think agents should really be looking at?
I think a lot of information can come from their AMS system. So where the person is, if they actively hold a policy with them, if they're looking for new policies, if they're a young family and they just got a house policy, maybe they need life insurance. So kind of understanding really where your consumer is with both your company and not, if they're prospects, if they're current clients, if they're up for renewal. But in addition to that, having website data, social media data, so connecting Google Analytics, looking at your LinkedIn and Facebook analytics, those can be huge kind of additions to your AMS data of, is this person interacting with your content? Am I reaching the right people?
Yeah. Yep. I think that's 100% important. And so I think what's interesting to me in this space, that might not be the way an agent or broker thinks first of like going to all of those various different kind of platforms. So what do you think is the best strategy for them to kind of bring all of that data together? Like, I know you mentioned the AMS, but is there anything that you've seen work well or heard from the industry that works well for just kind of bringing all that data together for the full picture of the customer?
Yeah, it totally depends on the size of the agency and kind of what they're willing to invest in terms of tooling. I'm a little biased because I work for an AMS provider, but looking for an AMS that has kind of like combined solutions. So if it offers reporting analytics, if you can connect kind of external tools to that. But ultimately for most agencies, it's going to come down to Excel. So learning how to export your data from these solutions, from your Google Ads data or from your social data and learning to combine it there. If you're a little bit more tech savvy, Google has some awesome data visualization tools that you can plug data into, but definitely it depends on how much you can invest in tooling.
100%. I think, increasingly in the industry and things are moving so quickly, but having the right tool set definitely, I think just makes all the difference really. And then jumping a little bit into like content itself, because I know you spent some time in that space, even on the content side of things, so like whether it's social media or the email marketing that we talked about, like what are some specific tactics that agencies can use to kind of personalize their communications?
Knowing where your audience is, and this could be several different segments, but let's say you have an idea of you're targeting a lot of new home buyers, or you're targeting a lot of people who need new health insurance policies, or you want to expand your client base, knowing kind of what they're looking for. So let's say you're creating a blog and your blog was best life insurance options. If you know that you're targeting potentially younger families who've never explored it, you want to keep them for a longer time period, you just change that blog post to how life insurance can benefit young families. And that little bit of personalization helps with both their Google search. So let's say they just Google this. Google understands their behavioral data as well. So if they know that they're young, they know that they're a family, they know they've been looking into these solutions, having that little touch of personalization in your content can be extremely helpful.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion of really just being like highly targeted. And, sometimes it might feel like, I think for busy agents or if they're a smaller agency, like, there's so many different things to think about when it comes to marketing, but really, I think just focusing on maybe just one or two of those tactics that you mentioned, at a time will really like drive the needle forward. So I think that's awesome. And we talked a little bit about software and tools. Is there anything in particular that, you've seen, whether it's like anecdotally from an agent or broker or just, within your career that's really worked well in terms of like a tech stack? And obviously on the AMS side, we know that, but then anything else that you'd recommend?
Yeah, I will plug our tech stack just a little bit and then kind of some other tools, but looking for like Epic and EasyLinks management systems both offer built-in marketing automation tools. So if you have an AMS that offers that, that's fantastic. Outside of that, if you're really just looking for some scrappy building, an email provider, an email creation provider that can sync with a contact list or that you can upload a contact list into, like MailChimp or Constant Contact, those are fantastic to get started. And I would start small. So I wouldn't try to jump into paid social ads and paid search ads. Start with email and then see if you can expand from there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think just having and doing the research too, right? Like I think what might work for one agency might not work for another. So it's really kind of fully understanding like what your needs are. And then on the implementation side of things for agents who are kind of newer to understanding their marketing and the data-driven aspect of it, like what are some initial steps that you think they could take to really kind of understand like where they are today and then where they need to go to like meet their goals?
Yeah, I would start with evaluating how you're collecting customer data because that's going to be the most important part of it. If you don't have a clean and easy way to see if someone's up for renewal, if they might be actively seeking policies, if they might be a risk for churn, it's going to be really hard to create that more personalized content or put them into things like nurture campaigns for emails. So I would start with evaluating how you're collecting customer data and how you're using it. If there's more things that you need to include in your sales or customer success follow-ups to gather additional data, and then start expand that into these marketing promotion tactics. So the email marketing, if you know that you're a younger agency targeting younger people, social ads can be a great second step as well.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. And then I think, then it's like once you've kind of implemented a lot of this, then it's getting into like the performance metrics and the KPIs. So what are some of those things that agencies should be measuring and looking at from an ROI and a KPI perspective?
Yeah, in terms of KPIs, this depends on where you're targeting in terms of the funnel. If you're just looking to grow your brand awareness, you want to have a high impression view and click to open rate in your emails. If you're looking more down the funnel, if you're ready to convert, if you've matured some of your marketing communications, you're looking at engagement rate, but also your customer retention rate. So they close, are they staying? Did what you pull in matter? And then when you think about ROI on these marketing campaigns, how much are you investing in them versus what you're receiving back? If you jump right into paid ads or paid social without kind of testing some of these organic options like blog post or email, you may be kind of split on what your ROI looks like and need to pull back.
Yeah, nope, that makes a lot of sense. It's like knowing, kind of where your dollars are going and then, what's the expected intended outcome. So that makes a lot of sense. No, these are great tips. I'm really excited. Like, this is where I nerd out on like marketing data and all of that. So it's so exciting. And then let's talk a little bit about future trends, right? Like, because obviously we mentioned we've been in the industry for a little bit of time now and kind of, there's so much going on, right? Like AI is a buzzword. There's so much, trends and marketing data and things like that going on. So What do you think? Like, what do you see like data-driven marketing going? Like, what are some things that agents should be thinking about within the next few years?
I'm going to get a little techie,
Okay.
but
I love
in
it.
terms of how people search is drastically changing, and it's changing really quickly. So AI is a huge component of that. But you can go on Google right now and see an AI search overview. That is not something that people who traditionally write content have prepared for. There's a lot of different views of these search platforms that are going to impact how you create content. One of the main things, and this is not like anytime in the near future, but something that they're considering down the line, is removing cookie-based tracking. And for a lot of people who use little, what are they called? The things that you can stick in your code for Facebook tracking or for LinkedIn, that's all going to have to be changed and modified. And it might change how you report. So being kind of ahead of the game and understanding what can you do that isn't reliant on cookies, can you start preparing for that now?
Yeah, agreed 100%. I think that that's going to change not only like the way we as marketers kind of think about our approach to, our audience, but then also just kind of the techniques and things that we deploy. So that makes a lot of sense. And then anything else, like what's exciting to you when you think about the next few years in the insurance marketing niche?
I think what's super exciting is just there's so much that's going on. And there's so much to tap into. So I'm right now really embedded in some of the paid search space. So understanding how that expands, how we can get in, like more engagement there. If we need to kind of switch tactics, the cookie deprecation is a huge portion of that. But also branding across like an omni-channel marketing is dramatically different. We used to see a trend a handful of years ago where having your logo and your branding and your colors on everything made a difference and it helped. We're seeing that dramatically shift now. So content is becoming extremely casual. You have a lot more vertical video. So how do we adjust some of our organic tactics to accommodate that?
Yeah, nope, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's the authenticity piece too of a lot of the content. And I think that's what, especially the younger generations are definitely more interested in. It's like, are you talking to us and not, at us and things like that. So I think exactly what you said, you hit the nail on the head there. Well, I'm really excited. Like I said, I think there's so much, again, in this space. I want to switch gears just a little bit before we wrap up and really talk about, like, if you had to, give advice to someone who is maybe interested in the insurance space, specifically on the marketing side, any tips or tricks that you would give them just as they, kind of grow their career?
Yeah, I feel like something, especially if you're newer to marketing, like you're a new post-grad or you're changing into marketing as a career, getting into kind of like what excites you about marketing. So I was really into content when I first kind of joined marketing, and being able to create an abundance of content for Tarmica was a huge portion of what I loved about the job. And it also had made me learn a lot about insurance really quickly. I was constantly having conversations or researching how the insurance industry works to be able to make that content. So it really helped me grow into my non-content based role now. But if you have an understanding of what excites you, that'll really drive you to the kind of role you're looking for and the sized company. You have a lot more leeway with trying a bunch of new things if you're at a smaller agency or a smaller, larger company versus if you join a massive company. But those companies can also offer a lot of learning and educational opportunities as well.
Yeah, agreed. I love what you mentioned there, kind of just learning or even identifying like what excites you about marketing, because again, there are so many functions. Even when you hear like, oh, I'm a marketing manager, I'm like, I always ask, like, what is that? What do you really do? Like, it could be like a million things and it can be just a handful of things. So it is kind of exciting to really be able to kind of create, I would say, like your own niche and lane in terms of the space. So that's awesome that you mentioned that. And again, it's been cool to kind of work along and see your growth in the industry as well. So definitely congratulations on all of your success as well. Before we wrap, definitely, if you don't mind sharing with our audience how they can get in contact with you and learn more about Applied Systems.
You can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Alex Cardoze on LinkedIn, and I manage a lot of our social channels. So if you connect with any of our Applied branded social channels, I'm definitely the person behind the screen there for the most part. So feel free to follow Applied, follow Easy Links, follow me on LinkedIn, and feel free to connect with me there as well.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks. This has been a really great conversation, Alex. It's been fun to catch up with you. Like I said, just feels like kind of talking to an old friend as we've worked together in the past and worked closely. But like I said, definitely congratulations on your success. And really just excited to see everything that Applied is doing. I think at Coterie, we've had a great relationship for some time now. So definitely just excited to continue to grow that and just see everything that you all are working on your front. So again, thanks for joining the podcast today. And we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the End I Quote podcast, brought to you by Coterie Insurance. Coterie puts insurance agents and brokers first, delivering instant business insurance across the United States. With an innovative quoting platform that delivers accurate pricing and bindable quotes in less than 1 minute, Coterie is making small business insurance effortless. Learn more about Coterie Insurance by visiting our website located in the show notes.